Hello, winners, and welcome to Two for the Win with your hosts, Nick and Will. We have a special review of a commencement speech. And if you really want to know what it is, you're going to have to stay tuned. But I promise you, you won't be let down. But before we jump into it, please be sure to subscribe, share, and follow Two for the Win on your favorite platform. I want to give a shout out to Nick Menard and nickmenard.com, and the 1% Push, as well as his Amazon best-selling book, Mindset is My Degree, for sponsoring today's episode. Happy Monday, Nick.
Happy Monday, Will, the winners.
Here we go. So there is a commencement speech. It has nothing to do with that helmet that's floating behind you, but it just so happened that this commencement speech was given at the University of Texas at Austin, and it was hook 'em horns. There we go. And it's one that we both have shared with our teams throughout the years. It's probably about 12, 13 years old now on it. And it's from Admiral McRaven. So for those of you who don't know, Admiral McRaven is an admiral, also Navy SEALs, but he gave a commencement speech at University of Texas that, in typical Navy SEAL fashion, says a lot without having to say a lot, uses simple analogies, and really it's built on one premise. And that premise is, if you want to change the world, again, remember, he's talking to graduating university students, start with the small things and never quit. So any high-level summary you want to share before we jump into our favorite segment?
Yeah, so before, without saying anything about the speech itself, just to share some of the impact that this had. So you shared that with me back in the day, I think, like when we worked together.
Yeah.
And then you shared it back a few months ago or a year ago. And this is probably one of the most impactful 18 minutes that you can listen to something on YouTube, and we're going to put it in the description for people who wants to listen to the actual speech of Admiral. This is so powerful that I shared that during one of my town hall for my region. The feedback received from that was an outstanding. Normally you have always one person or two person who send a ping and said, here, the amount of email pings I received from it, leaders that reach out to me. I send that to more people and they share that to their town hall. This is literally worth listening. Sit down and actually listen with no fast forwarding, because every single sentence he said makes sense. And like you said, he was an admiral. So he led a lot of people at the Army. And the ability to connect with people thanks to his way of thinking that is very simple, but you need to follow it. Because it's simple, but you need to follow the steps, are outstanding. The way he position it, a way that every single person in the attendance know what he's talking about, is mind-blowing. So I'm excited about this recording.
Yeah. It is a good one. And but before we start distilling it to you, if you haven't heard it before, we are going to go into our favorite segment, Quotes and Quips. All right. The first quote. We have some folks that we tend to quote more often than others. Yeah. This quote comes from John Maxwell, and the quote is, "The hardest person you will ever have to lead is yourself." Thoughts on that one?
Self-explanatory. Yeah. If you don't have self-motivation and self-discipline, how can you expect that from others? And you are your best partner and your most difficult person, because everything is in your head. Ego is huge, and usually that's what causes problem for most stuff. But if you don't have self-motivation, if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will. So I love the quote. It's simple, to the point. That's usually how John Maxwell is. So not surprised.
Yeah, it's a good one, and spot on. The biggest enemy you'll have to battle is the one between your ears. And actually, I came across something. Gosh, I can't remember who it was, but I actually tried it, and it's really been working for me. So you know how we talk about like just start, right? Just do something or whatever. And they'll say like, if you're going to work out, just do a set of reps, or if you're going to go trying to get your 10,000 steps, just do that. This person broke it down the most simplest thing. And even when I say it, you're probably gonna be like, really? This is what, but I tell you, it for the past couple weeks, I've been using it and it works. He's like, don't worry about taking 10,000 steps. Take one step. Don't worry about writing a novel. Write a word. And it's just the act of starting, and it actually works. So with the steps, that's something that I drifted away from. And now I get back in, and sometimes I'd be like, oh, do I really want to set up my walking station so I can do it or whatever? And I just take a step and I go do it. I've applied it to kitchen chores. Like I would just put one dish away and put the rest of
Huh?
it sounds so basic. I'm actually, it's probably like people are like, oh, really? But it surprised. That's the thing that's worked for me. It's not even thinking about writing 2 paragraphs a day. Just write one word, and it's connected.
Hey, whatever works.
So again, hardest person you ever have to lead is yourself. Keep testing till you find things that work on that one. All right. Sorry for digressing there. But let's go to our quip. I like this one. I wish I knew who did it. It's anonymous, unless it's the anonymous.
Yeah.
Them, if I ever meet with them, hopefully they'll be nice to me. Yeah. But the quip is self-leadership, because motivational speeches don't clean the kitchen. Thoughts on that one?
I love it. Well, it's very similar as John Maxwell, like it's just the fun way to portray it. But yes, I mean, if you want to be a leader, first of all, I don't believe you can be a leader without lead any other leader or aspire other leader to be other people to become leader. Mm-hmm. So that's the way usually when I define leadership. It's not the title; it's the ability to create other leader. That's where you can call yourself, or you can be called leader in my world. Mm-hmm. So self leadership, you're the first person to lead. If you cannot lead yourself, how can you lead others? If you cannot lead yourself and be the example, how can other people follow you if you're unable to do it for yourself? Mm-hmm. So it's funny, but it's true. So yeah, you want to be able to clean the kitchen, and for that you need to lead yourself in the kitchen.
Yeah, that's right. And one of our favorite acronyms that we have is GSD, right? Get stuff done. And I mean, so I could pump myself up about, all right, I'm going to clean this kitchen and put all the dishes away and scrub everything and make sure everything's in its place, or I could just go get started and do it. Mm-hmm. And that's how I took it away. It's like, I don't need to pump myself up. Just get going. Just get going.
Totally true.
And these quotes and the quip relate to Admiral McRaven's commencement speech at the University of Texas. So instead of reading all 10, because I kind of like how he did it, where he builds it up to it and cover it. But the first one is probably the tagline for this episode. Mm-hmm. What does making your bed have to do with leadership? And that was his first lesson that he offered. Make your bed every morning. And the whole lesson behind it is small wins compound. Completing one simple task with excellence. So not making your bed slap like, in the military, they fold in corners, you can bounce a quarter off or whatever, but it sets the tone for the entire day. So by doing that first thing when you get up, doing it excellently, sets the tone for the entire day. Thoughts on that one?
Don't do anything average. Do one thing great. Mm-hmm. And I think making the bed, I mean, again, you have to think about the military aspect of it. And we all know they need to do that. If you didn't watch Full Metal Jacket, you should. But I mean, by that, it is the reason why they are so strict, because I talk to different people, Marine, Army people, and they all say the same thing. This is the most important task in the morning. And you already start the wrong way if that is not done properly. Mm-hmm. So the reason why they do that, it's not because of the bad aspect. It's because follow the rules, be strict about the way you do it for yourself. And if you don't do the simplest task in the morning, how can you expect to have the rest of the day going well if you cannot start well? And that's actually a principle that you need to apply for yourself. It can be a better on something else, but you need to be able to be strict about the simple task that needs to be done every day and be consistent with it. There's nothing more consistent than be doing your bed every day. And so be consistent about the way you handle things, and you will see beautiful things will happen. And I love the way that he set the stage. Imagine he's talking to graduate at UT, University of Texas. Why would you even start saying that? And again, it's because he take it to the basic. And we talk about it a lot of time during our Monday Mindsets episode. The foundation is key. But this is the foundation of the way you will handle things during the day. If you cannot start properly, you will not be able to achieve anything like of matter. So I love the fact that he started with that.
Yeah, I do too. And even with the most simple things, don't cut corners. If you're going to do it well. And the leadership tie-in, and I really like this. A lot of people will say, oh, if I was inspired, I would be disciplined. If I was inspired, I would be habitual with certain things. Discipline precedes inspiration. And I love that. And that you take a mundane task, like making your bed, you commit yourself to excellence, you commit yourself to the habit, you're going to find inspiration later in the day because to your point that you earlier made, they started off the day right.
Exactly. Love it. And that's something that, when I present that to the region, they all laugh about it at first, but then the majority of message I receive after, like I mentioned, email and pings was about that line. That makes total sense. And that's the best segue for everything else of his speech.
Yeah. So perfect segue goes into number 2, find someone to help you paddle. So obviously he led a team or a whole division of Navy SEALs, the most elite force in America. SEALs paddle boats in teams. Nobody crosses rough waters alone on that one. And he talks a little bit about, I don't want to give everything away so people actually listen to the talk because it's awesome. But, even something like that, you think of somebody who's a Navy SEAL could probably achieve a lot on their own more than the average person. But still, they reinforce and administer to the importance of teamwork.
Exactly. And that's the reason why we love this speech so much, is because it's 100% relatable to everyday's life, 100% relatable to leadership, 100% relatable for business ownership. So anything is great for this. So that's why thank you to actually bring that up for this episode, because I should have think about it before you.
That's so good.
But yeah, no, definitely first is discipline to do the right thing from the start and doing it great. The second thing is that you can achieve nothing by yourself, or a lot slower and a lot less important. So learn to work with someone, and always extreme here because it's freaking army. It's not making cupcakes. So you just learn from the start. Okay, you need to paddle together. If one doesn't paddle, you don't succeed. And so it's learning to give power away to someone and to lean on someone in some aspects. And that's something that you will need to do in leadership, in entrepreneurship, because by yourself, you will not be able to do it. So let it go for some stuff. Stop doing the control stuff because it's not going to work. Yeah. I loved it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The leadership tie-in, build trusted partnerships. Leadership is a team sport. Can you imagine if you're paddling a boat and you got 5 people paddling one way and you're paddling the other way? I mean, it takes a team. Takes a team and 100%. Synergy. All right, third one. I like this one. Even though you and I are both big guys, I know you're taller than me. Measure a person by the size of their heart, not the size of their flippers. And so in the underwater demolition, excavation and things that they do for part of the training and stuff like that, he tells a story about how, in his experience, he saw sometimes the smallest men outperform the biggest, because in that situation, it's not necessarily the size. It's about being able to stay underwater for long periods of time, doing all that demo or whatever. But the thoughts of that one. Size of the heart, not the size of the flippers.
Yeah, so in this case, but again, the same in life and same in leadership. The size of the heart means courage, and the fact to to not be afraid because you see someone else who may have better, more attribute that you have. If you have the right mindset, the right motivation, things on the right place, instead of you will succeed. And it doesn't have to be the stronger, the taller, the faster. It needs to be the one who will not give up and the one who will actually, go for it on each and every steps. So I love the fact that mindset, for me, I look at this like mindset. The person with a stronger mindset will succeed at the end of the day, not the person who has the highest level of education, for example. And we talk about it a lot, like we know people, both of us in different, area of our, circle of friends, that they may have the biggest education and the most degree. It doesn't mean that they are the one who are the most successful in life.
Yeah.
And so, again, you need to have that motivation, the self-discipline and the mindset. And that's how that's what I think when I listen to that.
100%. And we've talked about this before. Like, give me the person who is passionate, mission-oriented, and a grinder versus the one who's talented, everything came easy, and they don't really have a work ethic. So leadership tie-in, character is greater than credentials.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm.
Fourth one. This is another funny one. You really do have to watch this speech if on YouTube. Check out the description. Get over being a sugar cookie and keep moving forward. Now, in the Navy SEALs, what they would describe as sugar cookies is, again, a lot of times they're on a beach, right? They're doing different maneuvers and exercises and stuff. And so if you fail an inspection, whatever the inspection entails, you have to roll in the sand. That's what they made them do, and stay that way all day. Hence, they called them a sugar cookie. And so there is no appeal process, right? It's not a democracy in that thing. So, but if you are a sugar cookie, if you are covered in that sand, you can either dwell on the fact that it's probably uncomfortable in certain areas because it's going and all that stuff, or you can just get on with your day. So, thoughts on that one?
You will have time in your leadership life, in your entrepreneurial career, you will be uncomfortable and you will have difficult time. Who is going to stand up and actually stop dwelling on excuses, on all the reason why it's not working, but actually learn from it? Because if you are a sugar cookie one day, I guarantee you they probably won't do the same mistakes 2 times because they don't want the sugar cookie anymore the other day. But again, I love the discipline here. It's all about discipline. Mm-hmm. You learn, you suffer from it a lot more than we would suffer in leadership, but mm-hmm. you suffer on it for a day, then you take a shower, you move on, and you learn from it. Or you can all day be miserable, or you can make the best of it and say, okay, I'm learning from it, but I will showcase that it doesn't stop me from my goal. Mm-hmm. So I love it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I've said this to my boys at times. The leadership tie-in is sometimes life's unfair, right? Like if somebody says, hey, you have to be a sugar cookie, there's no appeal process with the SEALs. You have to do it. Mm-hmm. And whether you agree or not, you have to do it.
I
right?
agree.
But get over it and keep going. And that's the whole thing, like what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. Take a shower. You eat sugar cookie today, don't be one tomorrow.
Exactly. Love it.
Yep. Fifth one, don't be afraid of the circus. How he defines a circus is an extra brutal second workout given to poor performers. So in the Navy SEALs, you got somebody who's kind of not doing really well, maybe holding back the group. They'll make them do a second. Now they're known for their grueling workouts. Now you got to do a second one in the day on that one. So it's given to the poorer performers as a way to upskill, as well as some penance for not, keeping up with the rest of the group. But the story he shares is, ironically, those who endure the circus actually emerge stronger than everyone else. So with that, to your point, mentality, the mindset, they actually become tougher. They become more resilient. They have more grit, mm-hmm. and they get better.
Yeah. And if not, that's not for them.
Right.
And it's the same in life. Not everybody can achieve the same thing. Thank God. Otherwise, But you want to be one of those. If leadership is your pathway, if entrepreneurship is your pathway, then you will learn. You will be uncomfortable, but you will get better from it. And if you complain, if you use excuses, if you're in the bottom of the ladder, you will be out. Not because we put you out, because you put yourself out.
That's right.
And you will continue to complain the rest of your life about something you never have.
Yep.
Or you never had. So look in the mirror. That's usually where the problem is.
Mm-hmm.
Learn from your mistakes. Over there, it's twice more complicated, or 3 times more complicated, because you suffer twice much, and not suffer by doing nothing, suffer by actually physical, things that they're going through. Make sure to learn from your mistakes, and that's a learning experience. And then you move on and you move to the next step.
Yep. 1,000%. Leadership tie-in, hard seasons sharpen leaders. The other thing that went in my head was no participation trophies.
No, I hate that.
Participation trophies. So you make it happen or not. All right, number 6. Sometimes you have to slide down the obstacle head first. So this one, he said, the fastest time on the SEAL obstacle course that he ever observed came from someone who took a risk, did something completely outside the norm, and went down head first instead of the standard way in which they were doing it. So thoughts on that?
If you never take a risk, you will never fail, but you will never succeed either. Yeah. That's my favorite sentence. Yeah. So think outside the box. In your career, as a leader, as an entrepreneur, you will have to go outside the line. You have to crayons or to draw outside the line, and it's okay. And you learn. Mm-hmm. Is it working? Yes, great. If it's not working, no, great. You learn. You don't do it anymore. You try something else. But stop doing the same thing that everybody are doing and expecting different results. That's the definition of insanity.
Yep. Oh yeah, no, 1,000%. So the leadership tie-in, boldness accelerates outcomes. The thing on this, we talked about this several episodes ago when we were talking about giving feedback, and people sometimes afraid to give feedback because they don't want the person to feel bad, but you're hindering them, because if you can give them constructive feedback delivered in a tactful and descriptive way, you're giving them a chance to be better. But you have to have that boldness, the managerial courage to say the thing the person needs to hear, not necessarily what they want to hear. All right. How are we doing on time? All right. Actually, pretty good. Okay. Number 7, don't back down from the sharks. Now, this one, I have to say, I don't know if I would be quite there yet. So I'm being very vulnerable and admitting. But the story he tells is during night swims, trainees are surrounded by literal sharks in the Pacific Ocean off of San Diego. You can't show fear or you get tested. Now, I don't know. If I was in a dark ocean and I felt like a little shark nub nose hit against me, I would love to say that I would stand there and brave it out. I can honestly say I don't think I would, but that's the story he shares. So thoughts on that one?
Hey, the great thing about it is what? You don't have to do it in what we are doing it, what we're doing. This is the extreme. And like, again, what I love about the speech is that those are real training. All right?
Yeah.
So you don't have to do anything close to that to be successful. But it's just an example of what mindset you have to put yourself in to succeed in what you want to achieve in life, in leadership, in entrepreneurship, like I keep saying. So you will be tested. How to react to those challenges will dictate your success or the level of your success compared to others. Mm-hmm. So things are going to happen to you. And we said that from day one that we start this podcast on Monday Mindset. Mm-hmm. You will have challenges. You will have obstacles. You will have things that you didn't think of. Negative things are going to happen. You're going to have bad reviews. You're going to have people that work with you and that just stab you in the back. You will have things that you cannot expect. Mm-hmm. It's going to happen anyway.
Right.
How you react to it. Are you going to let that put you down? Or are you going to lose weeks of not working the way you should because of a situation that happened to you? Or are you going to learn from it and get twice better the day after because you learn from your mistakes, you learn from your experiences? So here is an extreme situation when you're in the dark in the water full of shark and you cannot move and you have to show grit. We don't ask you to do that.
Yeah.
But put your mind into having to feel so uncomfortable. And at the end of the day, no one died.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. And that's the message here.
Yeah, absolutely. The leadership tie-in, stand your ground when adversity or intimidation shows up. And there's so much truth in that. Like in business, whether you're self-employed or part of a large organization, there's going to be times of adversity. Do people panic and then start doing 10,000 different things? Or do you stay the course, double down on the fundamentals, and focus on the critical few? It's the difference.
Boom.
All right, number 8. Be your best in the darkest moments. In underwater demolition drills, everything goes black. The visibility is actually zero. You cannot even see your hand in front of your face. Only calm, disciplined execution gets you through. So again, they're doing these little pods and teams doing underwater demolition. You can't even see. They do it at night because they're testing all your senses. But thoughts on that one?
We had an episode a few weeks back about what to do in difficult situation or when economic situation happen, like, now we are in with, the tariff and the government, politic aspect of things. The way, if you are panicking in this time, and you just mentioned it like 2 minutes ago, if you're panicking this time and you try to revamp everything because the situation happened, usually you will fail. Because the best thing to do is, what do you know you are great at within your company, your business? Mm-hmm. Amplify that, because that's your leading edge. Mm-hmm. Don't try to change everything because that's what everybody else are doing. Usually in business, when everybody go left, you go right.
Yeah.
And the best time to invest is when the economy crash. Mm-hmm. Like, never forget that. The people who make the most money is when everybody else are losing their money. Mm-hmm. So do the opposite of what people are doing and usually set for success. And that's literally what they said here. Like, you will be challenged and you will have impact, negative impact. And during those times, do what you know you're great at. That would be my message.
100%. Like, yeah, you got to stick with what works. It doesn't mean you put blinders on and you're not agile, but again, there's times where you need to pivot and there's times you need to stay the course. More often than not, grit and perseverance wins. If you're always changing direction, you end up going in a circle. So on that one. All right. Number 9, start singing. I don't know how much time we want to spend on this one, but start singing when you're up to your neck in mud. They have these trainings where people have to go through the mud flats. So they're basically waist deep in mud. Morale collapses, like, as you can imagine, they're marching in that stuff and all that, until one trainee started singing. The entire group follows, and they made it through. So the leadership tie-in here is hope is a force multiplier.
This was very powerful. Again, you need to listen to the whole thing, but this was very powerful. Like, literally the power of one person deciding to do something to put your mind somewhere else, because you're, of course, miserable being in that mud. Someone starts singing and everybody starts singing. What happened? You're still in the mud, but the only change is that your mind is somewhere else. So that's the power of mindset.
Yep, 1,000%. Couldn't say any better. All right, and we'll wrap up with number 10. Don't ever, ever quit. The bell hangs in the center of the SEAL training. So they have this bell hanging up there. And the first day they tell you, at any point you want to tap out, you have to walk up in front of everybody, ring the bell, and you're done. So if you ring it, you're done. Thoughts on that one? Wrap it up.
Never give up.
Yeah.
Never, ever give up, whatever happens. How do you think people who ring the bell felt? Mm-hmm. How do you think people who finish the course felt? Mm-hmm. And that's the whole difference. Usually the difference is not someone who is more muscular or better suited, they have more attribute, is mindset. Mm-hmm. Someone who will not. And there are so many shows now on TV about those things, when they take actors or comedian or something like that and put them in the test of like that. Special Force, I think is the name.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And again, what great, the last season, the one who just finished a month or two ago, the 2 winners are 2 ladies. Not that I think ladies are inferior, but they're 2 ladies. And one of the 2 ladies, it's literally the one that I thought was going to be out first. Like, literally, she's like 27, 28. She's an influencer on Instagram. Not at all the attribute that you think would be successful in a training like Navy SEAL training. And she won. Why? Because she refused to quit.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever happened, she said, I'm not going to quit. I have goosebumps just thinking about it.
Yeah.
And that's literally why she succeeded. You had like ex-NFL players. You had like another sport, I forgot. But you have like people who are successful in life and a lot more physical than those ladies.
Yeah, athletic, yeah.
They quit.
Yeah.
They quit because they don't have it here.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about life is that you never know and everybody can succeed if you put your mind into it.
1,000%. Yep. So the leadership tie-in, endurance is often the difference between those who lead and those who wish they had. So in summary, winners, greatness isn't built on grand gestures. It's forged through daily discipline, grit, courage, humility, and relentless perseverance. Again, mindset does not know gender, race, anything, religion, whatever. Mindset is mindset. And if you employ a growth mindset and you apply it and you stay with grit and perseverance, stay the course, more often than not, things are going to work out in your advantage. And at the very least, even if they don't, you're going to learn a lot along the way. Any last thoughts before we wrap?
No, you said it. You said it fantastically. Discipline, grit, never give up, mindset up, and you win in life.
Let's go.
Boom.
All right, winners, that'll wrap up today's Monday Mindset episode. Please be sure to subscribe, share, and follow 2 for the Win on your favorite platform. And a shout out to nickmenard.com and the 1% Push, as well as his Amazon best-selling book, Mindset is My Degree, for sponsoring today's episode. We will see you next Monday, winners. Take care.
Bye, winners.